What is up, y'all? It is comefy of r/ProRevenge. Yes, another one of these videos because you seem to enjoy them a lot on the channel. I also want to thank you guys for almost 1,000 subscribers. When we hit that goal, I will make a video addressing it and how we will move forward. Mainly by making baller content. Let's get right into the video. Guy speeds out of his driveway every day without looking. I think I may have messed him up mentally forever. Small piece of background information. As a kid, I was always playing rough and at some point even thought about becoming a stuntman. Actually, that still sounds like an awesome career. So me and my friends did the whole fake fighting thing, and I learned how to easily fake hits and pretty nasty falls without getting hurt badly. I was one of those kids who always had cuts and bruises and no idea how I got them, nor did I care. I also had always had the superpower to cause myself a bloody nose, just by picking a very specific spot. This may not sound like a superpower, but if you didn't study a test on it, was God's gift to be able just to walk out of the classroom with a bloody nose, knowing you could retake the test another time. This story happened a couple of years ago, and it may have been the worst thing I ever did. I was 17 years old, and being Dutch, I rode my bike everywhere. I lived pretty close to my grandparents, and we bike past their house on the daily basis. Their house was at the corner of a Y-shaped intersection, and there was this guy who lived on the same intersection who was the worst driver I ever met. He would just not look when he was driving out of his garage and just speed into the road. He nearly hit me twice already, and every time he just cursed at me to get out of his way. Now, you have to believe me when I say this. I'm not a very vengeful person, but something about this just annoyed me so much. My grandma always loves to ride her bike around town and do this at groceries, and I knew I had to do something before my grandma would get hit. I asked my grandma about the man, and she told me what I already knew. The guy was an a-hole, and everyone did everything wrong except for him. I told my grandma that I was planning and if she would help me. She wholeheartedly agreed, and together we made a plan to teach him a lesson he would never forget. I decided to hang out around the guy's house for a couple weeks to take note when he left for work every day and how fast he was going. I worked everything out to the smallest detail. No room for errors. I started practicing my falls again and looked up some tutorials to prepare myself for the performance of a lifetime. One sunny Monday morning, I get up and start stretching and warming up my muscles. Today is the day. I grab my bike and drive it around the corner of the guy's garage. I mentally prepare myself and start my bloody nose with ease, making sure to get nice and bloody in the process. Then I hear it. The garage door opens. I now have 3.7 seconds before he would be racing out of his garage. Like I said, every detail. No room for error. I start driving my bike as fast as I could and get ready for impact. And let me tell you, it went beautifully. I was no longer sitting on my seat and had my left hand already off the handlebar to help with the impact of the car. I rolled over the hood and wheelchair of the car and landed in a nice rolling motion. As I thought to myself those years ago, I ended up hitting up the ground in the passenger seat of the car. All in all, the whole accident took less than a second, but I still remember it as if it happened to me in slow motion. The guy was freaking out how he thought he just killed a guy. And if you're just looking at the amount of blood on his car, it wasn't that much. But on a white car, every drop stands out. You would agree. As I laid there next to his car, screaming out or asking if I was okay, of course I pretended I wasn't, and took my sweet time trying to get up. It was at this point my grandma came running out of her house screaming, "My baby! You hit my grandson!" The guy didn't know what to do. He was so full of shock and thought he may pass out. I'll give him credit, he kept his cool and knew what he was in the wrong. He called me an ambulance and stayed by my side. When they arrived, they checked me out. I was fine, a couple of bruises and a small scratch on my knee from hitting the pavement. They bandaged me up and left. My grandma brought me to her car and brought me home. A couple of days later, I ride my bike past this guy's house again and notice a piece of paper on one of the windows. For sale, call 06, retracted. I asked my grandma, and what happened, and the word on the street is that the accident left him traumatized and now he refuses to drive anymore, taking public transit everywhere and selling his car. My grandma is happy that she can ride her bike without having to worry, and I am happy I don't have to worry for her life. We talked about it afterwards, and both of us agreed that although what we did was a horrible thing to do to someone, it had to be done before someone would actually get hurt. And we don't feel any remorse about it. I mean, what a cool story, man. Like, I'm pretty much scared of anything that would hurt me or practically touch me. So the fact that you're able to stand up to a car while riding a bike and risking yourself of several injuries, sorry Jimmy, that you would hurt yourself in such a way and mind blown, because that pain would just, even if it was just a little, I probably would be like crying and acting like I just broke my nutsack off, dude. Next clip. Oh. I can already tell you guys you're gonna love this story. Bully teacher likes to kick your belongings. This isn't my story. The revenge belongs to my friend. We'll call him Alan because that's not his name. Alan is a very laid-back, largish guy who seems very gentle. But in high school, he had seething anger issues, especially with bullies. And this story was the culmination of those. Alan had a math teacher. Call him Barry because he was about that age. Barry liked to bully his students in ways that were scary but not actually violent. And being a math teacher, he was more predictable than creative. Barry owned his classroom and kept discipline by humiliating anyone who challenged him. He liked to stride along in the aisles between students' desk chairs, and he insisted on a free space to stride in. When a student left belongings in the aisle, Barry would call the class's attention, wind up big, and kick the belongings extravagantly to the other end of the aisle and beyond, leaving the embarrassed student to clean up the chaos while everyone waited for the class to resume. Barry would smirk and say, "Now let's not see those things in the aisle again." Not that there was anything else to put things. One day in November, Barry had kicked a young lady's entire gym bag across the classroom, and her gym clothes scattered everywhere like wind. Her underthings landed on other students. She was mortified. Barry smirked, and Alan seethed it. That happened to Alan before, no big deal, but he was unwilling to let it go when it came to embarrassing the young lady. Alan had been applauding his eventual revenge. In art class, Alan had been assigned a winter term sculpture project that could use any found material. He decided to use nuts and bolts for December, but he listened carefully and knew that there would be a similar higher marked project in the spring. He bided his time. Being a big guy, Alan decided the spring project would use bricks. Come January, he obeyed the choice of materials with the art teacher. Then he sketched out a sculpture, showed where he had obtained the materials, and how the bricks will be used, how they'll be held together, and how the final product will look like. All material was to be brought into the art class and left there in the storage, of course, that term. Well, it was being worked with. Okay, with that, the art teacher too. All this took 4 weeks, but that was just fine. So in February, Alan brings the 24 bricks to school. Perhaps coincidentally, on the day the art class immediately followed math class. And of course, what could be more convenient than to carry them in all but a gym bag? There was no way from Alan to leave the locker between classes since there wasn't any time to get from math to then till art. So you obviously had to have the bag in math class. Somehow, the bag was carelessly left projecting a foot or two in the aisle between the desk chairs. Math teacher Barry saw the big bag, strode up the aisle, grinned, took a huge wind up, and the paramedics took Barry into the hospital, spitting and gasping with a shattered foot. Of course, Alan expected a serious investigation afterward, but he had plotted everything with so much legitimacy, so much plausible deniability, that nobody could ever show deliberate intent. Most of the teachers who knew that what a bad person Barry was, suspected Alan of engineering the whole thing. But nobody could prove a thing. Alan looked contrite and kept his head down. But Barry wasn't back in math class until April. He wasn't kicking any bags from his crutches. What a fantastic story. Applause to Alan. And applause to the person who stole Alan's story and re-uploaded it to Reddit and got 500 upvotes. Bravo. Next clip. Thank you all for watching towards the end. I hope you have a great day, night, time, whenever you're watching this, wherever you're watching this. If you're watching this, I don't have any creative jokes today, so apologize for that. But we are so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. It is insane. At this current moment, we stand 5 subscribers away from the big 1000. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just cool, you know. Nah, it's insane, dog. If you guys see this and I'm not at 1,000 subscribers yet, you guys should so scroll down until you get 1,000 subscribers. Hit that button. Turn on the bell notifications. Leave a like and enjoy my ad-free content. Yes, my ad-free content. I'm a cool guy like that. And now I've taken up another minute doing an outro. Good night, guys. Or day.